Now we are live. What's going on, everybody? Let's make sure that this thing is that I'm
Oh,
on the
you
right
gotta
streams.
start a new, and you have to start a new screen share with me
Okay.
on Discord, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Do 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 do. There you go. I'll make sure people see this when I'll post this link over there.
Sweet.
How was your week? While we're waiting for people to hop in, how was your week last week?
It was good. Thankfully, I like made good money on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because, as you well know from us hanging out in chat, we had like a power outage here on Thursday, and I
Mm-hmm.
opted to take the day off rather than like trade with the on the generator power and had some stuff to do, so it was a good opportunity to run some errands and do some things here. But yeah, it's definitely odd. Like the internet, the wired internet seems stable when the municipal power's out.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got like solar, or if you got a backup generator or whatever, you can pretty much stay trading and working or whatever. And of course, if all goes to hell, I've got my Starlink satellite.
Do you have all that now? Like that whole
Oh,
stuff set
I
up,
just
and is
have
it
the
working yet?
generator because we're renting this house, but I've got the Starlink on a UPS battery backup, so I can have like an hour or two of internet just off of even if all the terrestrial internet is down, I still have satellite internet that's reasonably fast, and the generator here is enough to run the whole house or whatever. But yeah, when we buy a place, I'm clearly going to install a super pimp like solar system
How's all that
that
coming
can just
along?
um, it's kind of looking like we're probably going to end up buying a lot and building a place because what we're looking for is kind of tough to find, and the housing market here is pretty tight. So, and we've got some certain like deal breaking things that we got to have. So that might be the route we go, is just buying like a really nice lot and building a sick pad that like meets all of our criteria.
Honestly, since it's something that you're so like y'all really want to do this, that's like you want to live there and be there and all that kind of stuff. That seems like a not a bad, you know,
I mean, clearly, like
setup.
I'd rather be paying a mortgage than paying rent, but we're paying a lot less rent here than we were in LA, and we have such a nice place compared to what we were living in LA, and we're in such great proximity to the beach. It doesn't sting so much to be paying rent when you're someplace like that feels like you're on vacation.
Yeah, I could see that.
Vacation.
I'm looking for that's what check is. Let me disconnect that. That's what I like being here. Like even though I traveled and we were around, I really like where I'm at. Like I don't know. I found I trade better now that I moved in somewhere, and then I'm settled. And I'm sure we'll get a chance to kind of hit on this when we talk about like our workday and stuff. But stupid things wrong with my chat. But I'm much more kind of settled in and feel like trading is a little bit easier now that I'm actually where I'm supposed to be, and like I'm not in the middle of all the hectic move and that whole process.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of had a similar parallel course this year, although mine was, I think, a little bit more disruptive than yours.
Just a little, but I mean yours was still pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, this is for sure the biggest move and life change I've experienced. So,
Well, let's what up? See what up, Cook? How you doing?
do we have people in Discord, or is this in?
No, this is on YouTube. I can't get my thing to link for some reason. Technical difficulties. That's what happens when you go on one computer. You set everything up for the show, and then you launch the show, but there's something wrong with the stream, like on YouTube's end or something. The way that it started it. So even the people like there were people waiting in the other link, and I ended up deleting that link. But I'm not even sure if they
Figured out
saw it.
that there's a new one.
That's why you can.
The are you is the chat? I'm not seeing the chat. Maybe I'll just open a separate window.
Yeah, I just opened a separate YouTube window for chat.
Get ready to be blasted by brightness.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, We don't have long. We're going to try to keep the show relatively short, just kind of a week kickoff show. Maybe if we can't do weekend shows, because you're such an independent, free spirit now on your with your dives and everything else, we'll have to do some starting the week with CT shows to kind of get the
We'll
best
find
of
something
both.
that works.
So, yeah, guys, let's kick the show. CT and I are going to talk about some things. Y'all have asked some questions in chat during the work week. We're going to try to talk about some of that. But this is CT, if you don't know him, the Mr. Incredible 1 hour king of the 1 hour workday. He'll be starting his own YouTube channel soon where he documents the life of a day trader and the snorkeling and all the other, good times that he gets to have. So with all that, welcome CT.
Thank you, sir, and thanks for everybody who's joining us. Always good to hang out and spend some time outside of the workday.
Let's kick this intro music real quick. I gotta be professional. And with that idea for professionalism, by the way, guys, if you watch my stuff, content, or anything else, and you want to trade with me, CeeTee, Rose, Mitchell, there's a link to the Discord group in the description of this video. There's also an affiliate link to T3, the room where JR trades, where Eddie trades, Kelly trades, and some other really amazing traders. So if you do want to support the channel itself and you're going to join the T3 room, you can check out that affiliate link below. And if you just want to trade with us in Discord for free and you want to do that, you can check out that link is also in the description. See, we're getting more professional here. Like every month or so, I take just a little step up on the streamer professionalism scale.
Creeping up the ladder, bro.
I'm getting there. I'm thinking about buying. So I'm currently having my office built upstairs, and this is a temp office. And I'm going to be doing like a 90-inch desk by like 36 probably deep or something like that, so I can fit my monitors and just not feel like I'm cramped at all, and a bunch of other stuff. But I'm thinking about getting like a new super nice camera, setting up there, and not the full stream setup because I actually like things to look clean. And I think like if you're really good in the streaming, you got like green screens and you got all that kind of stuff. Not interested in that really. I would, because I like my office to look like have a certain aesthetic and just a clean look to it.
Yeah, I think that's something that I really appreciate too. Like I have, in lieu of a desk, I have a big dining room table that really has nothing on it other than like my keyboard and my mouse. And having like a big expansive space in front of me, there's something that just feels like really nice. And like you've got something to rest your feet on, rest your hands on, whatever. It's a good feeling. I don't like being like cramped with like things right up on me. So I think you'll enjoy that. I can't imagine you don't like that.
I'm gonna love it. It's gonna be sweet. I'll have to send you some pictures because I've got this 49-inch monitor that I'm setting up, and I'm gonna double stack these two Odysseys. So the next one I'm stacking is gonna be like, I might actually mount both of them in the wall, but this one's going to be probably desk mounted. And then the other one will be wall mounted, and it'll swivel out, and I can probably play with it. But it'll be the top one, and it'll be slightly less resolution, but it'll be able to run like some charts and some stuff. So I'll have a lot of stuff down here, and I can have my second stuff up there. And I almost wanted to go full CT, and off to my left on one of my walls get like a, not as big as yours, but like just a flat TV just to put it there and to be able to run my laptop to it, or to run one other thing, so I could just have like Q's charts or something that I don't even need, but more charts equal more money. So,
I mean, I will say having more real estate than you need is a good thing. And it gives me, like, personally, I'm constantly playing with chart layouts and trying new things. So I don't feel like I'm totally restrained if I want to like try a new chart layout over on one of my side monitors. It's not like detracting from what I'm used to looking at, like on my main screens and stuff. So it's good to have some room to play.
It is, and to put like, I could do alerts on that one. I don't know. I've got a lot of ideas, and if you guys have like whatever ideas for office stuff, or if any of you guys are like an interior designer type person, and you've got an eye for like, I'm going for a like rustic whiskey library room with modern lines kind of feel to it. So like that kind of leather, dark leather chair, dark wood, desk, and then like an American flag, the 76 one hanging on the wall, and like that kind of a few library things that make me look smart or like I read or like I know how to read, which I don't, and kind of put that stuff up with books that you just set there, and then and something, but then with a little bit of the upgraded modern. Like you got your computers in there and your stuff, so you can't go full old school, but like that kind of look is what I'm going for. So if any of you guys are like, yo, I got ideas, hit me up in Discord or drop a comment in the YouTube channel. So we wanted to chat some about, because I don't prep like I should, lever action on the wall. Yes, there will be firearms mounted. A lever action possibly. See, I could do some antique firearms. I could purchase some antique firearms. I could also do like an AR, but I think antique firearms would kind of be more.
I think that's better for your
unique.
motif.
Yes, I agree. I think it fits the theme a little bit more. I could do that. Yeah, an old like 30-30, maybe with the John Wayne handle that you can,
Single-handed cocking on it.
Yep.
Comedy.
And maybe a few Colt pistols, like buy like a antique, old Colt pistol or something and put it in there. I think that would be a classy look.
I think that's a perfect addition to your already great idea. When I was looking at those monitors, like the ones you're working with, the whatever the panoramic kind of ones, they're not that tall, right? They're like 12 inches tall or something. So kind of what I was thinking would be really cool is to do like to stack two of those, right? And then on one side and then have another two stacked and have them like perfectly matched up and then have it all have like the curvature of your four monitors totally matching. So it's almost like a semicircle. And like I thought that would be cool before I went with like the massive wall mounted stuff. That was my initial idea.
That would be pretty legit, like a full like half circle of these 49-inch monitors. You talk about like a $5,000 just monitor setup, but just having like two. The only thing is your thing would be in the middle. That's the like.
So I feel like the thing to do is to have like, so the ones you're focused on are like, you have two that you're focused on, right? And it wraps around to one side and you have your kind of periphery stuff on the side ones. So rather than having like the seam in the middle, like you have your two main focuses. And then if you've got like your Discord and everything on one side and like, peripheral stuff or whatever that you're not like completely focused on when you're trading, but when you want to like do some like fibs or do whatever, you can like swivel your chair around to the side or something.
Yeah.
Because I think with those, like if you stack them and you angle one, then you end up with like that ellipse in the middle that doesn't have anything. So I think like if you can get yourself situated so that you're kind of like, they're center line with your vision, you can stack them like perfectly. Anyways. Listen to us nerd out on monitors.
Dude, I almost did and I still technically could this, like the TIE Fighter setup style. Like even though I have my 49, I'm like, I could take two 27 longs or even 30, whatever, and I could put them on the corners and have it kind of like so then you have your horizontal and and you could have them set up there on the side. So if I wanted to turn my head, I could have a cleaner up and down. So I could just have this monitor, my 49-inch, and I could actually put two other ones on the side. So I could actually turn my head and see something, or I could wall mount flat ones up top looking down at me, because where my wall is going to be, it's actually slanted. So it's like straight up and then it slants out a little bit, which is actually perfect if I wanted to, and I don't know that I do. I could do two flat ones. So when I sat back like this, I'd have my curved, and then looking up, I could have a flat one or two flat ones there up top. And then I could set a massive one off to the side.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you've got like a nice chair that reclines, like a Herman Miller or something, it's definitely easy to swivel around or lean back. Oh, I see the wife is in chat here. She's already like rubbing up her mittens, waiting for me to upgrade so she can have my whole setup.
I like it.
Hilarious. Yeah, Cook, really, like the 4K TVs that have an option, have really high refresh rate and really fast response time. Like for instance, I run like Samsung 4K TVs and they have a game mode, so that it's like really fast. So like your mouse feels natural when you're running it around. There's really no reason not to use those for your computer monitors if you get the right ones and have the right settings on them. Okay, enough of
Yeah.
like monitor nerd stuff.
Monitor nerd. Yeah, that's not what you guys come here for. Although I will say I'm going to be doing a video of my whole setups and stuff when I do that. So
That'll be fun.
I'm looking forward to just recording and putting that together. I'm so pumped for this office. My wife wants me to finish it too, so she can have this office for baby stuff. So,
Nice.
um, so I don't remember what we were going to talk about. I mean, I kind of do. So let's. What initially did we say? We wanted to hit a little bit, and we don't really prep for these like we should, but we wanted to talk some about the transition. That's what it was. So we both went through a crazy transition, and you went and tell me what you're saying kind of before the show, so everybody can kind of hear where you're coming from with the transition. That your first half of the year, basically, what it looked like, and how you went from that to what you're doing now.
Yeah, well, it was. I was kind of looking back on the year in the past week or so and realizing that I only got about about, I guess it was 2.5 months, so maybe like 9 or 10 weeks of trading in before I shifted my really main focus in life to coming to visit like Puerto Rico and travel around, check out different things and
Mm-hmm.
think about whether we wanted to move here. And then, obviously thinking about travel, then traveling here for 3 weeks, and then coming home and spending, 6 weeks packing up my entire California life and arranging for all the complications of moving that, to an island in the middle of the Caribbean. And by the time everything got here and I got everything set up, we're looking at half of the year, more than half of the year is gone. So I really didn't work that much this year, I realized. And it took me a minute to get back in the groove of things. I feel like the first maybe 3 weeks, I think, of trading, once I got my office set up, I was definitely like having good days. And then I'd have that one day every week where like I would give most of my week back or give half of my week back or whatever, and just not like really being on it as much as I could be. And obviously, the market evolves and changes constantly. So trying to get back in the groove of that was a bit of a challenge as well. But in hindsight, this was a really an interesting year in that it was not a year of work for me. And I know I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
like the year's already done, but it feels like I haven't really worked that much this year. And it did take me a while to get back in the groove of things. So I'm glad that I was teared down. Not that I lost any money. I was always either like having decent kind of like paying the bills kind of weeks or kind of flat weeks. And so it's good that I was teared down, I think, for that period of time. And now that like I'm back in a groove, um, I think we were talking about this last week. That was, I think, in the past month I've had 2 red days, and one of them was a two-figure red day,
Mm-hmm.
and the other was last Friday, which was like $350. So I really feel like the way I got back into work is was smart by starting out tiered small and just really taking my time with it. And it feels so good to be settled in a new place where I'm happy and comfortable and have like a nice big office to work in,
Mm-hmm.
and everything feels amazing. But I would advise people who are going through big life changes, who do this for work, that you really need to allow yourself time to get back in the groove and don't be in a rush to make things happen. Take your time with it. Clearly, like the market's always evolving, and the longer you spend away from it, the longer it's going to take you to kind of get back in the groove of things. So that was interesting, and it's I guess it feels good to be back. Like now that I'm like really making good money again. After not working for most of the year, it feels really good to be someplace where I'm super happy and enjoying life, and back to making the kind of money I'm used to making.
Mm-hmm. Do you did you think that it would have paid or been good to like almost not trade at all? Because some people are like, oh, I'm going through some stuff in my life, so I'm just not going to trade. I'm just going to paper trade. I don't
Well, essentially
like that, but
that's what I did. Like
mhm,
I think that I could have like when we moved here, we had mobile trading setups and we could have set up our office in the dining room and run Ethernet cables, through the house and
yeah.
had like our living area taken over by, a hodgepodge travel office. And I opted not to do that. And instead, I took like 5 or 6 weeks off work while we waited for our shipping container to get here. And yeah, I absolutely think we did the right thing. I think that allowing yourself time to get settled in a new place is super important so that you're not distracted with a million different things, and it allows you not to put things off, all the little details of getting settled in a new place and a new country in our case. I could really focus on that and really focus on, developing a good routine here so that, I felt very established by the time that like all of our office stuff got delivered. And then when I did set up the office, it was like, wow, I already feel like so at home here. Everything's like settled. And I think that don't rush yourself is the lesson that I would take away from this and advise people who, go through these things. And everybody has these things, whether you're moving to a different town, moving within the same town, or moving halfway around the world. Like take your time. This is not the type of job where you can half-ass it. So give yourself the time to do things right.
Do you find when you were getting back into it, so you talk about doing it right, getting back into it, is there a process for getting back into it that you found was helpful for you that if there was a new person who, let's say they just got into this or they're doing whatever and they're making this big life move because now they have money and they want to go live somewhere else or do something else. Okay, you're coming back into it now. There's temptations that come with, all right, I'm sitting back down in front of the computer, I'm ready to go. How do you get back into it? What did you do to get back into it?
Well, clearly there's like a bunch of FOMO because like all of your peers have been making money all the time you were gone, and you're looking back at all these charts that you haven't opened up for maybe 6 weeks in my case, thinking like, wow, I missed all these moves, brutal. And the thing I would advise people to do is to really like manage the FOMO. Like the market's always going to be there. As a new trader, especially, I think it's really hard to accept the fact that it's okay to take time away. Like you always feel like if I miss this one day, it's going to be devastating to my career as a trader. And I think I felt that way for probably the first 2 years I was doing this, and I'm now getting to the point, probably with the help of this move, really realizing that what, the market's always going to be there. If I need to take time off to do things, it's totally okay to do that, and it's healthy to do that. And I think that to stay healthy as a trader, you need to be comfortable being away from work. You don't want to be one of these people who their entire life revolves around work and that's all they have, and they don't have anything like in their outside life that makes them happy or that they find rewarding. Like that's not the way to live. Like there's a lot more to life than accumulating money. And I think that realizing that and embracing that is going to make you a better trader.
That's one of the things that people say that they're going to do. They tell your wife or your significant other or whatever, it's, man, if I do this, we could do more vacations, we could do more of this, we could do more of that, or whatever it is. And then you start doing it and you're like, yeah, I'm never taking time off from this. I want that hit every day. I want that through my veins. I want that coursing through my veins. And you don't actually allow yourself to like get the reward. I know we did it last week. I missed Tuesday and Wednesday, which looked incredible for how I trade, like early, like those drops, the amount of aggression I play in Tesla when stuff like that happens. And who knows what would have happened, but I missed them and I looked on my phone. I was like, oh well, shouldn't have looked at my phone, but whatever. And it was just like, I didn't have FOMO. I still enjoyed the beach with my wife with no kids there, just relaxing, you know, hanging out, doing adult stuff, going golfing, putt-putt golfing, mini golfing with her and stuff. Like it was just a great time, and being able to step away from a little for it for a little bit is just, I think it's a healthy place to be in. It's a good test to be like, you know what, are you in a healthy mental state? If you have something to do or there's something like that, can you just be like, it's okay. That really shows maturity. It's like, yeah, you know what, I'm good. I'm good. Whatever
Well,
can
and
happen.
I feel like it's difficult in this business because clearly our work is nothing more than making money. We don't have any like really goals outside of making money. It revolves around that. And uh, I don't think we're the only people who are susceptible to this. I think everybody's susceptible to this to some degree or another. But you look at maybe some of the most like wealthy people in the world are like really, there's a ton of people who have just obscene amounts of wealth and they are still total workaholics. And you got to ask yourself, why are you here? Like, are you here to just accumulate wealth your whole life, or do you want to enjoy experiences, enjoy time with your family, with your loved ones, and live a rewarding life? And it's because of the nature of our job. I think it's easy to get sucked into that, focus that like, oh, I just have to focus on this and have to focus on this. And there's never going to be enough money that, we just have to look at like, the billionaires of the world that still work their asses off every day instead of just never working again, which they could clearly easily do. Um, it's important to be as a healthy individual. I think you have to learn to step away from work and find things you enjoy. And that actually is a bit of a segue into one of the questions I received in chat, I think, this prior week, which was somebody was asking, I'm giving back a lot of my day after 10:30, after the first hour. How are you able to step away and hold on to your profits every day? How do you do that? How do you have that discipline? And just I got to tell people that you have to find things in your life that you're passionate about and enjoy. Like if you don't have if you're not passionate about things outside of work, you're just not going to be happy, in my opinion. Like there's never going to be enough if all you value in your life is money, and there's never going to be enough of it, especially if all you do is think about making money all the time. You're always going to want more and more and more. You're never just going to be satisfied. So if you want to be happy, you need to find things outside of trading that make you happy, things that you enjoy. For me, that's going diving, going snorkeling, enjoying nature, enjoy spending time with my wife, things like that. And you touched on that just now, Gator, about having some quality time to spend with your wife and and whatnot, spending some time away from the market. And the number one thing, like if there's one thing that's Gator, can you confirm that for as long as we've been in a community together, I've had a reputation for making money and logging off?
Yep. CeeTee
Yes.
is the
Okay.
king of like the 1 hour workday. Like he's literally the mustache bandit, and he takes the bandit like theme to the extreme. It's like you go in, you hit the train, pap 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 pap, pap, and then you take the money and you leave. And it's like, and then some people didn't give you their money, but you're not going to shoot them and kill you. Just like, yo, whatever. You keep your money. You held up. You might smack him, and then you run off, and he's just gone. And then you don't see him again until the next time he comes in riding on his, his horse to
Well,
just take out the market.
so yeah, and this is we've heard a lot of our mentors talk about this. You hear Geronimo talk about, oh, if I wasn't running a room, I'd be, relaxing, having a beer right now, barbecuing or whatever. And you hear Kelly talking about, in the show you did with him, like, I'm trying to make my money and like step away. I don't want to give it back type of thing. And for me, the way that I was able to develop that habit early as a trader was I lived pretty close to some amazing mountain trails in Los Angeles, and I would trade in the morning from like 6:30 to I guess 7:30 or 8 in LA time, and I would head up to the mountains and enjoy nature and ride on that dirt and get some exercise, look at the trees, look at nature, and watch the seasons change. And that's something I was really passionate about. So getting outdoors, getting some exercise, whatever it is for you, find something that you really love and that you're passionate about, so that when you turn off your computer, you're excited to go do something you love. Like that is the key to being able to step away from the market and get this out of your head. Like, so that if you make a great living working an hour a day, why would you spend more time than that in front of the computer? Why wouldn't you be out there enjoying life? Like, what is all that money for exactly if it's not to enjoy life?
It has to have a purpose, and your job and what you do has to have a purpose beyond this. And, as long as you have your plan, like whether your plan is to work for an hour, 30 minutes, if you're going to hang out, like have a reason for it, but just allowing this to be a vehicle to give you the life that you are trying to live, to support the people, to support your family, to enjoy, surfing, scuba diving, golfing. Me, I love to go golfing. Kelly likes to golf. I love shooting competitions and stuff like that. And as my kids get older, I plan on getting them into different stuff if they're into that, like firearms and golf and different sports, and to be able to do that. And I know Peacock, what up, Peacock?
So
I have
Peacock.
no doubt that, and I'll talk to you about this. I need to hit you up about coming on, but I would like your daughter playing softball. You're probably allowed to go see more of her stuff now and spend more time with her families and do all that. If you have a purpose beyond sitting down here to make 25,000, $30,000 in a day, $500 in a day, $1,000 in a day, like that's not why we sit down. It's like I'm sitting down to make. Kelly said on the show I did with him, he was like 5 trades or something. Like you're sitting down and you have a role. It doesn't have to be 5. It doesn't have to be 10. It doesn't even have to be any number. But it's like I'm sitting down to make a few good trades. Once I execute a few good trades, I'm done. Now, me personally, I like to hang out because I'm doing some cropping stuff for some videos, and I'm trying to do these plays that take place later in the day for reversal strategies and learning some of them. But sometimes I'm doing it with like minimal contract size because of the technique of being a trader than making money. But that's my goal at the beginning of the day, and my kids are at the house, and if I leave my wife, who is pregnant with, 2 toddlers running all over the place, she's to go golfing all the time, she'll be slightly more upset at me than, so it's not like I can't really just, okay, I'm done trading, bye. So like I'm able to be here and then I go and help her when I need to. And, it works out as opposed to me not being at the house, but I'm not sitting here, I can walk away sometimes after 1 trade, 2, 3 trades and be done, like, and be completely happy because it's gotten to a point where, yes, I do want to make a certain amount and I have goals I'm trying to make. But it's not about that. It's just about being a good trader and having a good trade idea. And I want to ask you about this and how important you think prep is when you sit down for, like, we do the pre-market prep show with Andrew now. And shout out to Andrew and you guys, if you're in Discord, we're on Zoom every morning, 9 o'clock, and we kind of go through an idea of a plan or something. And you have this plan, you sit down and you hit it. And then after that, it's like, okay, I executed my plan. I'm up. I'm doing pretty good. Market is setting in. I'm not looking for hyper scalps. If I want to do these plays, that's fine. If not, I'm good. I'm done. And I have my plan. I try to hit it every day. And it's not a monetary plan. It's a trading execution plan. And then once I hit it, I'm done. And if it's a tough day like it was Friday, where, yeah, technically the moves happened, but you had to be in a name for 30 minutes. And I didn't want to sit in a name for 15 to 20 minutes because it just wasn't hitting. So I'm just able to be like, yeah, I'm not going to trade. I'm good. I'm walking away. I'm not doing this. Can you develop that? I think that's a huge part of being a successful trader and being able to maintain success and enjoy the job as opposed to being owned by this job, because it can own you.
Yeah, and we joke about we like to joke about me and my 1 hour work day. But I mean, clearly I spend some time outside of active trading to get my charts ready and doing continuing education, obviously, like watching content that my peers and produce and content from like JR and whatnot. So that's all a super important part of staying on top of things. But yeah, having a plan in your head before you come into the market is, you should not just have that written plan that is your business plan that you operate and abide by, but also having a plan for the day. On top of that, like how many trades are you going to take? What are your ideas? What are you looking to set up? Like if the market wants to go up, this is what I expect to happen. If the market wants to go down, this is what I expect to happen. So you do want to, I don't think you want to like jump on the computer without doing any prep work and just trade what you see type of thing. Like you want to think about certain scenarios that might occur and how you will react or act on those scenarios. Because we always like to say trade what you see, not what you think. But it doesn't hurt to think about different scenarios so that when they transpire, you already have an idea in your head of how you want to play those ideas. And also, good evening, Baxter, Anya, Peacock, everybody. Sorry, we're kind of losing track of chat here, but good to see you all hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out, guys. And any questions or comments, throw them up in the chat. And hey, good morning. And be sure to leave a like on the video, share it with people, let them know, about what we do here if you want to. If you think this stuff is good, I always appreciate it. And yeah, like trading the idea. That's one thing I didn't do great on Saturday because I caught this down move in Tesla. And I already had a short on, a swing short that was going from the other day. And I was just like, man, if this breaks, it's going to my target. I'm going to have a massive payday. And it just bounced off and put in these massive wicks. And you can tell, like you were saying, like you were bullish on this because it started doing that. I didn't switch because I thought it was going to break down. I should have. And I did quit shorting it because of these,
Those
wicks
two
into
minute
the
wicks
bottom.
into
Yeah.
the prior low there. If we can, actually, that makes me think of something that I wanted to talk to you about,
Yeah.
which is the bias that you can sometimes have when you have a swing on.
Yes.
And I feel like you may have had a short bias that morning
Oh, for
based
sure.
on your swing position. And the reason I bring that up is because I have found when I have swing positions on, I tend to be biased as well. And that is one of the reasons I tend to not take swing positions is because I feel like it influences me really analyzing what's happening without any sort of lens of preconceived notions.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I mean, you said you think that might have been the case too.
It was the case, and I noticed it. I think I might have been too stubborn on it because the market was telling me something else. Like the market was saying it was going to go up at this point. So, also, two things. First, one, I'm out of the swing short. Two, and I'll get back in it, I think, at some point. Um, Technically, for my entry up here, I was right. As far as, like, I entered that short up here. I was down, or here maybe.
Like you were already up money,
Yeah,
so
I
it's
was up
not it's
4 or 5 points in my
not like you're worried
contracts.
about losing money,
No.
but you have this idea in your head that you clearly put some thought into.
Yes. It's like I had this idea, you had the ranges that were going to take place and break, and I had all this, and I held on to the idea because last week I had the idea of,
And it worked really well.
yeah, all the way down to 940, and 940 was my target, and I thought we were going to go there, and my ideas and generally on Tesla hasn't changed. I'm still overall bearish on the market long term, meaning by the end of the year. So I'm just looking for that to happen, and but if we would have broken here, I would have been like, oh dang, and then instead I just like took a little bit of profit on my short because it popped up, and I was like, whatever, it's clear, and I was able to get out of that mindset to where it didn't hurt me quick enough because it was obvious that the market wasn't going to do that. And I could have taken more profit down here, and then I could still be in the position now, and I would be fine because I would have already had a winner in it. I could have played it differently, but I think it does affect you. And I think if you're going to do swing positions, and this is something I have to work on because I don't do them very often. It's very rare that I do them, and I only do them off of profit on a day. So if I had, I would say I risk between 10 and 25% of my day on a swing position. So if I have a really big day, I will risk between 10 and 25% of that on a swing idea if I already had that idea coming in and I was looking for something. And I don't think it matters why I was looking for Tesla short, but if you had that idea that we were going back to this level because we were going to take out this leg up, and you took it and it was a good entry and all that stuff, once it stops working or during the day, just because you think it's going down here by the end of next week doesn't mean it's going to happen on this day. And if you're going to get into swing positions, you have to, I think, train yourself to see big and long picture and separate that from what you're doing on the daily. So I should be able to hypothetically be in my swing short in Tesla with the proper size so I'm not FOMO'd, get in it, and be like, you know what, the swing's fine, but right now what the market is telling me is it's going up. So I'm just going to be, obviously we failed, told, yesterday, and we're going up. All right, I'm going to start playing this to the long side. And it's hard to do, and it's definitely difficult, and I'm not sure if it's worth it. I think it is worth it, but I think you have to practice money management.
I think it's tough because, and I'm not saying that I don't, I think if anyone can do it, you can, but I would say that psychologically, holding a short position while you're simultaneously playing that name long is like some serious, I don't know, cognitive dissonance, or if you
Mm,
want to call it that, like where you've got like you're taking long trades, and somewhere in your subconscious you're like, well, geez, why aren't I selling my short and buying back
mm,
at a better price, type of thing. Like if it's going up, shouldn't I sell my short and buy back at a better price? Like, and I don't know, I'm sure that there's a way to like to partition or segment your thinking and make that happen. I just know from my personal experience, I find it super challenging, and
yeah.
maybe I haven't put enough time into it, but that's think about that. I would say that's something for I would advise people to think about when they're doing swings and intraday scalps. Like think about what's going on in your brain when that's happening.
Because I'll have JR maybe next time and we can talk about that some because he does that.
Mhm.
And I did it last week, but it was different than this week because I was like I had 100% winner on my profits. So it was like whatever short I called in Tesla, it was like I was in it. I made like 5 or 6 points on half of my contracts, and I sold another quarter at 15 points, and then I had a runner to my final target. So I didn't care what happened at that point. I just had an alert set to sell. And there was like a day or two when Tesla ran up in the middle, and it was like here, I guess. Tesla went up, and I was still in shorts, and I played it to the long side, and it didn't bother me. But I was out 80% of my short, and I figured at some point we would have a green day on the down move to 840. But there definitely can be that cognitive dissonance because you're like, oh, well, maybe my other position's wrong, or is the overall move. And I don't know the answer entirely, but I think the answer is you have to be able to look at the macro and understand if, if for instance you're trading a head and shoulders or you're trading a wedge break on the daily or whatever it is you're trading, has that trade idea failed? So if you're trading a short because it's going in the opposite direction, or is that trade idea still on?
Yeah, and I think that's essentially the crux of like what you need to be able to process in your brain that as long as your initial trade idea is still working, it's okay to trade within to take smaller time frame trades in there. I just don't know whether like I think for a lot of people, I think they're going to have a hard time losing their bias of the original trade. Like the original trade idea is going to color their bias of what's happening on the micro, like the macro analysis is going to color the micro analysis that they're making when they're doing intraday stuff. And like for sure, like clearly JR does this, and I don't know whether it takes 20 years to learn or whether it can be done in less time than that, but it's certainly challenging. It's something that I haven't really I've stepped away from because the few times I've done it, I've found it to be like a little bit difficult.
I
And
feel like,
actually, can we
yeah,
talk about Friday's action briefly? The
yeah,
um, and can I do a quick screen share?
yep.
Okay, cool.
Let me know when you got. I'm on. Oh, hang on. I gotta go to yours. Jump into the wrong stuff here. Let me go to
Okay,
your
cool.
screen on mine.
I think we can leave our faces up if I do this properly.
No, I've got
Or
it
no,
set
we're
up
just
to
gonna
where
go
you
straight to
can't.
me.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So this is your
Okay,
screen.
so this prior week and this is something we talked about in chat and we never really got to really go through.
Yeah, I want to hit. This is
Um,
very important, guys. I want this. This goes to what CT and I were talking about pre-market prep, and yeah, pay attention to this.
Yeah, so I rewatched the video that you and Kelly did recently, and one of the things that he talked about using is this concept of the Fab Four. And what the Fab Four is, for those of you who don't know, is you take the last 45 minutes of price action of the prior day, which here in Tesla, if you watch where my mouse is going, I'm kind of circling this area or I'll bring the box down just so you can see. So that's sort of like the last 45 minutes of price action, the extremities of that, the highs and the lows. And then, so those are your first two elements of this Fab Four is the high and the low of the past 45 minutes. And then you're going to also add in the 21 moving average in our case, and the 21 exponential moving average in our case, and the 200 simple moving average. So we can see that the 21 is within the range of that 45 minutes of price action, but the 200's way up here. So I'm going to move that up there. So now my box encompasses the price action of the last 45 minutes, the 21, and the 200. And I think this might have been like an Oliver Velez concept initially, but he uses maybe different moving averages. And the concept is that you don't trade when, like, on the next day, you don't trade when it's trading within this range right here, this high and this low right here. And the further you are, like, if you're going in one direction on the top or the bottom of this box, that can add conviction to your longs going up from here, your shorts going down from here. But really, the concept here that I've heard taught is that you don't trade within this box. And Friday, I think, was a prime example of this working tremendously, because this was really choppy price action, and a lot of us like started out with red days because we were trying to trade within this range. And what happened when we cleared that box? We got above the 200 and got some really nice clean moves. And ironically, I had to leave at, I think, 10:48. So I had
Yes.
an 11 o'clock appointment.
I almost texted you, dude, and I was like, "Thank you for sacrificing yourself. We finally got paid in Tesla alone."
I was losing it when I looked at this chart, because literally 2 minutes after I left, and I was trying longs through that 2 minute 200 here when it happened, just little starter positions. And yeah, like 2 minutes after I left, we got just this astonishing, like, how many points was this move? Like a $12, $13 move right there. So so yeah, getting back to pre-market prep, now that I've kind of explained this, it's not my concept. It's something I learned from Kelly and some other people. Watch, if you really want to dig into it, you can probably find some tutorials online. And so I draw these boxes, whether it's, the prior night, I'll make this box. And so, for instance, like, we're going into tomorrow here, I've got this box drawn here, and you can see the price action, like with the 21 and the last 45 minutes is really tight here. The 200's far away. So it bears some similarities, kind of flipped upside down for the prior day there. And I'm going to flip to a 6 chart here so we can kind of see the different things that sometimes happen when you're using these. So where's a good example here? I don't know. So having this box, what I feel like it does is it kind of gives you some perspective as to how compressed or expanded price action is. And it definitely gives me a little bit of additional, like, conviction for longs and shorts. So, like, let's look at here at Meta. I will actually open this chart big so everyone can see it. Where is Meta? Right there. So here's an example of a name where the 21 and the 200 both fall within the price, the high and the low of the last 45 minutes of the day. So this is a very small box right here. Price is compressed. And again, what are we looking for in the pre-market? We're looking for, for compressed price action. Like, if the pre-market action is trading within this box, I'm thinking, wow, look at this setup right here. If it's, at the top of this and looks like it could go up or down, or at the bottom it looks like it go down, great, that's a great setup. If it's far from this box, what do I know? Maybe we'll get a little bit of a snapback before we make a move in one direction or the other. So I'm finding this pre-market prep to be super helpful, and I really like having these on my charts in the morning. I've only been doing it for about a week, but I feel like it gives me some additional insight into what's happening. And on Friday, this could have saved me from having to claw back some money that I ended up Friday like down $300, $350 thereabouts, which is just, I consider that a flat day. But if I would have followed my rules that I kind of had in my head and waited for price to clearly get outside of that, this really, I would have had a pretty nice day, assuming I could stay an extra 10 minutes past my departure time.
That's always how it works,
So,
man. That's always how it works.
yeah. Okay. I'll give control back to you, Gator. But yeah, some
You're good.
people had asked about that in chat, and I've been playing with it. I really like it a lot. It's a cool little thing, and I plan on continuing to use that and learning more about that.
Yeah, that's fun. I need to start drawing those. I'll start drawing some of those for the pre-market shows, or you can show them on yours if you're looking at names that you see in the pre-market thing. You can be like, well, these are the ones that are most compressed. Here's my boxes. And within that, like for me, you have to understand that the more of those things you put in, Like if, let's say you make a rule where you don't trade inside there or something like that. There's sometimes where you're going to miss plays, and that's okay. Like for me, I shorted Tesla even more at the open before it got out of there in a daily position. I might have called it on the mic or something. I was like, I'm short Tesla or whatever. Here we go. And I made a point or two or whatever. And it was just because I was playing that aggressive short at the open up near the 200, failed, and I went short. Now, overall, it didn't work once it started rolling around, but you have to know your rules and then understand how to, is flex them the wrong word, but understand that like, understand how you're going to use them and then you're not going to get mad. My rules say to do this. They do it for a reason. I want to trade it when it gets out of this box and when I get a C strategy, 2-minute strategy, whatever it is, off of moving average out of this box, or, you know, because I am limiting risk. If you're going to get really FOMO'd about like early stuff or you don't want to play it, just understand what you're doing when you're kind of creating these. It gives you that, like CeeTee saying, it gives you that vision of the market. Okay, this is where compressed, we're in this, we could expand some, we're really expanded, there's a good chance. So like if Tesla, like look at Meta. Can you go to Meta on your chart? I'm gonna go back to you.
We'll do that. There
On
you go.
this one. So look at Meta, how gapped up it was there at the
Yeah.
top, away
So
from his box. Look how far
and
away
okay.
that is.
So the explanation of this methodology essentially works like this. I'm going to zoom in and give like a
Yeah, yeah.
brief like rundown because I did watch some stuff about this. Is they talk about when price is right near the top of this box. We're only going to talk about, let's just talk about longs and
Yep.
shorts off like up here. So if price is going up from the top of this box, you have more conviction on your longs. If the price is far from the box, that gives you more conviction for your shorts, and then when it's in between, you're slightly long biased, but sometimes the shorts will work. So like, you know, if the price opens up here at the top end of this box right here, I'm going to be thinking I'm long biased. If the price opens way far from the box, I'm thinking I'm short biased. So that just gives me, you know, look at this candle right here. It's whipping all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
But in my head, I'm thinking, wow, we're pretty far away from from that box. So I kind of have to like have a little bit of a short bias there. And the inverse would be true if we, you know, if we opened up down here. So I think that that having something like that is super helpful. You know, anything that the first minute can be so whippy and have and prices all over the place. So anything you can use to sort of like rein yourself in from impulsive moves can be healthy. And like what you were saying, Gator, how like yeah, like there were when we look at Tesla, like I made money in here. Like I took like I think I took some longs off of like
The bottom.
off of these. Oh, you know
Yeah.
what I was trying to short? I think we were all trying to short through yesterday, through the prior day's low,
Yeah.
and we got, we kept taking like little losses here and there, and then so I was down like maybe 2,500 bucks. I made that all back, like you know, taking little like scalp longs up here, and you know, I ended up getting back to flat. So clearly there were trades that didn't work, and clearly there were trades that were working. In hindsight, would I prefer to have just avoided all of that and just not traded that and looked at maybe another name that was outside of that box? I think I would have. So it was a learning experience for me. And like what you're saying, Gators, like sometimes you can break your rules and bend your rules and still make money. For me, in hindsight, I think I would have rather not traded this and abided by my rules. And I think that's what I took away from that. And you know, looking at some of the other names that were like coming in and out of that box on Friday, I think I would have. Good Lord, look at Amazon. What a
Look at
nightmare.
Nvidia. Look at Nvidia outside that box.
Yeah, like it's so that's an interesting chart right there. Let's let me pull
Let's
that up
check out
here
Nvidia
on
so
a
you guys can
bigger.
kind of see the difference.
Okay, cool.
And this is key for a lot of, because look what happens when it gets above that and hits the 200. When you use multiple indicators, so the box is just a box in and of itself, it gives you something that now you can attach your other stuff to. So look, we broke out on top of the box. Look what we came back to. We came back, tested the 200, consolidated there for a little bit, and then ripped higher. And 50 bucks says if you throw a fib in there, so if you were to fib that NVIDIA move,
I'll try to do that for you here. Do you want to fit from the 200 or
no, so
or from the bottom
fib
of
the
the?
leg.
Okay, we'll
So
do the whole leg here.
yeah, fib
Oh,
that
you know
leg.
what? Something happens when I start like if I just draw a fresh fib, everything looks good, and maybe you can help me with that as a point. But if you like, here we go. This is what you want me to do right here, right?
Yeah, and then
Oop.
see the top. I just did it
Okay,
on mine,
so
so I know it matches up.
well, no, we got. I mean, that first leg right there. We came down to the 61%,
Hmm.
61.8 right here. That was like almost to the penny where that bottomed right there. The bottom was 180, 180, and the fib was 181, 81. Oh, coincidence?
No,
I
I
don't know,
think not.
but I think not. But again, like if you were dead set on not trading this range right here, sure, you might have missed a short and a long here, but what happens? Right here, you've got a retest of the 200, like you were talking about, and it's moving around a lot here. But I would rather have some added conviction on my entry, and like in this case, this is exceptionally whippy. Guess you wouldn't have gotten stopped out if the 200 was your stop, but
Well, even
yeah.
the bottom, because the way NVIDIA moves, and I'll jump to mine. You can leave yours up really quick. I'm just jumping because I threw this fib here, same as yours. But like if you, or so I can click, like let's say you enter on one of these candles, as long as like maybe the pivot is your stop, or even if not the 200, like below the candle you entered on or something, you need to make that risk for yourself in NVIDIA, or just wait for it to chop around and come back and retest the 200 after it's hit it. Like you get multiple chances here. And then unless it breaks down to here, you really have to give like names like NVIDIA and Facebook, you have to give them room. But you have that box there, and I'm about to jump back to your screen. So you
Mhm.
can see where it hit the 127, hit the 161 pretty much. Let's jump back to your screen. That box is also the top of that level. So you're holding the top of that line, you're holding the 200, all that's set up. If you're a trader that's looking for a slow move to the 127, 161, your targets and your stuff, there's a name. And Mitchell actually traded this. And he was calling NVIDIA out while I was sitting there trying to be an idiot and short Tesla. He's making money in NVIDIA, or I might have been longing at this point, but there's your NVIDIA. There's the top of the box. There's your flag off the 200 failing to break down through it. And there's your fib move to the 127 or 161.
And bro, look at this. So we just talked about how on that first leg, the 61.8 is 180, 181, and the bottom of that candle there, of that pullback was 1 penny off. And then now let's look at the 161.8 level right here, which is the high of 85 and 62 cents, and that's the high of the candle is 85 and 62 cents, and the 161 fib level was 61 cents. So both of those fib levels were 1 penny off.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're wondering about fibs and how useful they can be useful.
Yep, and given all this stuff together, like, everything that we just put into place, you can have, and then here's your next one. If you throw up another, just jump back to mine. Like when you guys are talking about pre-market, I think part of, the idea, if you want to follow the motif of the show that we've done tonight through, and I know CeeTee has to go, it's 9 o'clock, or I think you do soon. But like the motif, okay, you're away from the market. You're taking vacation, you're traveling, you got this stuff going on. All right, for whatever reason you slow down. All right, now you're coming back into it. Now this applies to really everybody. You're coming back into the market. You're sitting down every day. How can you ensure longer term kind of success and a plan and being mentally sharp when you're sitting down? And it's stuff like this. And if you throw down a fib, by the way, I fibbed this second leg that it did, and you hit the 127 here. There's your, we chopped around all day, but technically it still went. If you fib, like this was the first fib. Your first fib was this candle and I think you might have been using the wrong tool, by the way. There's
Is
several
that what
fib
it is?
tools.
Because
Yeah.
I feel like I can do a single like fib and it
Use
always looks beautiful, and then when I start moving around, they get screwy.
use fib retracement. I think you're doing Fibonacci projection.
I am. So
Yeah,
retracement, you can go. I thought retracement only encompassed like the 0 through 100%. You can make extensions on that.
right click it. If you right click on your line, so right click, if you can see my thing here, edit
I'm
line.
gonna do it. Well,
Here you go.
we're gonna do a little lesson here
I'm gonna jump over to
while
your
I'm
thing.
okay. Let's do this. Okay, so are we gonna fib like from this low here to this high here?
Yeah, that's good. So
Okay, cool.
you'll
And
have
then
to
I'm
do
gonna
it.
right click it.
You have to do it the other way, but click edit. You have to go left
Oh,
to
from
right
top to
get.
bottom. That's
Yeah,
fine. I can do it again.
yeah, top to bottom to get your projection because it's backwards. Kelly talked about. Kelly had said this too. So there you go. So now
Okay, so
right click that white line and click edit.
edit, and then we can
Now there's your
add.
fibs. So uncheck the things you don't want.
Yeah, so we can uncheck like the 21 is probably and the 25, and we'll just look at the
And then
38, the
change
50, the 61. Okay, lose this. And then you can change
the
the
numeric, yeah.
1794 to like 121.8, right?
You can change, yeah, any of them. You could change any
Yeah.
of them. But yeah, just delete the other ones and change the ones. And as soon as you hit enter on that, it'll put it there.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
You
That's
see it?
actually I'm so happy to hear that because I knew I was something was screwy there.
So put in
Okay,
your
cool. Well,
161, your 138, and your 127.
yeah, I think what I want to do is rather than uncheck these, I just want to like delete out the ones I don't want and put in the actual figures that I do want because I
Yep.
want to get like the 160 and all that.
And you
Cool. Thank you for
click
that.
show. I think you need to click show too. So right click edit. Show
Oh,
price and show
there's
value. So if you click show price, it's going to show the price on the left hand side. So check show price. There you
oh
go.
yeah, that was defaulting on my previous one and
Okay,
it
yeah.
wasn't here.
So you're good
Okay,
now.
cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
That is great news.
So yeah.
Learn something new every day.
Yep. So yeah, that's and so using back to using what CT is talking about, your pre-market, your boxes, using where the 200 is at, the 21 is at on the daily, using hopefully not incorporating too much of your bias, but looking at where things are at, where the overall market is at, where the macro move is, where it could be doing. And then, all right, what am I seeing? Where are these levels? Hey, these levels are coming into here. What am I going to do? I'm going to long off the top of this box, which also happens to be the 200, and I'm going to put in a fib line, and it's the 127. I'm going to set a wide enough stop so, I can do whatever. I'm going to play with common maybe because, I mean, if you have a $100,000 account or $50,000 account, you can make, you could buy 1,000 shares of NVIDIA if that's your thing, and it moves up, 3, 4, 5 points. That ain't bad. That ain't bad money. And you can do stuff like that, or you can buy options and create trade ideas, create something that you're looking for in the morning. So you're not just sitting there waiting, well, what's Gator doing? Why is he doing this? What's Geronimo doing? Why is he doing this? And instead of doing that, we, CT, Mitchell, Rose, myself, Geronimo, Eddie, whoever it is, Kelly, you're seeing the stuff sometimes before we are. You're giving us ideas. We're giving you ideas. You're seeing the lines, you're matching it up, you're confirming it with each other and like, yeah, oh, all this is good. This is all working together. All right. And then you take it, then you execute it, and you get taco stickers sent to you because that's what we do now.
Have we put in the order for the taco stickers yet?
I should actually get like a football helmet for my office, and that should just be something different and put it there, or a chalkboard or something. And I don't know, a chalkboard that wouldn't look good in that. Maybe a football helmet, and I'll just stick a sticker on it or something for people. And each one of
So
and if you
funny.
guys want one, and you guys buy one of these helmets, I'll send you stickers when you do good trade calls, and then people can stick their stickers on their helmets.
If you haven't figured it out already, we are all business in Discord.
We are entirely all
There is
business.
no horseplay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, if we could wrap up, I would
Yep.
appreciate it, and we'll save more goodies for next time. We don't want to give it all away right here and now.
No, if we give it all
Um,
away, people won't come back. So, this is just you got to swipey your credit card, or like
yeah,
the video for more.
yeah, just like and subscribe, y'all. It really does help. And he's Gator's doing good stuff here. And if you're enjoying it, it really doesn't take anything at all for me to do that. And thank you everybody who hung out with us live. Anybody who's watching this after the fact. It's good to see some of our usual cohorts here hanging out with us here on a Sunday night.
I appreciate it, guys. I appreciate the comments you leave, asking questions during the show. It really helps, and even after the fact on YouTube, even if I'm slow at responding sometimes. So appreciate it, CT. You're the man. I really appreciate you coming on. Everybody in chat, love you guys, and I will see you all tomorrow, bright and early for the market open.
Peace out,
Peace.
everyone. Have a good night.